Okay. Pnawn da, fe nhw yw'r cynghorydd Gwenol Elis a fi ydy cadeirydd y Pwyllgor Trosolwg a Chraffu Addysg a Sgiliau. Hoffwn groesawu pawb i'r cyfarfod heddiw sy'n gyfarfod aml leoliad. Bydd yr holl gyfarfodydd sy'n agored i'r cyhoedd yn cael ei recordio a'i ffrydio'n fyw a byddant yn cael ar gael i'w gwylio wedi'r cyfarfod dod i ben. Os bydd y ffrydio byw yn methu, bydd y cyfarfod yn parhau a bydd y recordiad ar gael trwy wefan y cyngor ar ôl i'r cyfarfod ddod i ben. Hoffwn atgoffa'r aelodau bod cyfleusterau cyfieithu ar y pryd ar gael a bod angen i'r rhai sy'n mynychu o bell ddewis eu iaith. I'r rhai sy'n dymuno siarad yn y siambr, codwch eich llaw. I'r rhai sydd yn mynychu o bell, defnyddiwch y swyddogaeth codi llaw. Bydd siaradwyr yn y siambr a mynychwyr o bell yn cael eu gwahodd i siarad bob yn ail. I'r rhai sy'n mynychu o bell, cofiwch nad oes modd i'r rhai yn y siambr ddefnyddio'r cyfleusterau sgwrsio. Mae gofyn i aelodau'r Pwyllgor gadw eu camerâu ymlaen yn ystod trafodaethau ac wrth bleidleisio mwyn cynnal cywirdeb y broses gwneud penderfyniadau. Os ydych chi'n gorfod gadael cyfarfod dros dro, rhowch neges yn y swyddogaeth sgwrsio fel bod y swyddog gwasanaethau democrataidd yn gwybod ac yna rhowch wybod i ni pan fyddwch yn ôl. Dwi'n disgwyl i bawb sy'n bresennol ac sy'n cymryd rhan yn y cyfarfod hwn ymddwyn yn briodol a pharchu ei gilydd. Mae hyn yn berthnasol i aelodau, swyddogion ac unrhyw un sydd yn y galeri cyhoeddus. Hoffwn atgoffa'r aelodau gan fod eitem eithriedig ar y rhaglen heddiw, mae dim ond chi ddylai allu clywed unrhyw eitemau cyfrinachol ac eithriedig sy'n cael eu trafod. Awn ni ymlaen i'r rhaglen. Eitem 1, ymddiheuriadau am absenoldeb.
Yeah, apologies have been received from councillors Keith Eales, Carol Beer and Anthony Bertola.
Diolch yn fawr. Eitem 2, datgan cysylltiad. Yn gai atgoffa'r aelodau bod rhaid i chi ddatgan natur eich cysylltiad personol. No, dyna ni. Eitem 3, materion brys. Dydw i ddim yn ymwybodol o unrhyw fater brys? Na, dyna ni ta. Eitem 4, cofnodion. Dyn ni'n cymeradwyo a llofnodi cofnodion y cyfarfod diwethaf fel cofnod cywir. Cyfarfod gynhalwyd ar y 4 o Fedi 2024, tudalennau 4 i 7. Gai rhywun i gynnig a rhywun i eilio i ni gael cymeradwyo'r cofnodion, os gwelwch yn dda. Cynghorydd Hannah Fleet yn cynnig a'r cynghorydd Joe Nuttall yn eilio. Gawn ni pawb i ddangos bod chi'n gytun. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Eitem 4, cofnodion y fforwm cyllideb ysgol, gynhalwyd ar y 4 ar 15 o Fehefin 2024. Gai gynigydd ac eilydd, os gwelwch yn dda? Wel. Oes rywun am gynnig? Cynghorydd Ann McCaffrey yn cynnig, gai eilydd, os gwelwch yn dda? Cynghorydd Hannah Fleet, diolch yn fawr iawn. Cyfarfod gynhalwyd ar yr ail o Hydref 2024. Gai gynigydd ac eilydd ar cyfarfod ar yr ail o Hydref, os gwelwch yn dda? Cynghorydd Austin Roberts yn cynnig. A mae cynghorydd Ceired Head yn eilio. Gai bawb i ddangos? Diolch yn fawr iawn. Eitem 6. Cofnodion cyngor ymgynghorol sefydlog ar addysg grefyddol Conwy, tudalennau 21 i 26. Yn eich pecyn, gai rywun i gynnig, os gwelwch yn dda? Cynghorydd Frank Bradfield yn cynnig a'r cynghorydd Austin Roberts yn eilio. Newch chi gyd danos yn y ffordd arferol? Diolch yn fawr iawn. Eitem 7. Cwestiwn i aelodau'r cabinet. Does dim. Eitem 8. Adolygu'r rhaglenni gwaith. A mae hyn i'w gyflwyno gan Dawn Hughes, Swyddog Gwasanaethau Craffu a Pwyllgor. Hoffwn atgoffa'r aelodau mai dim ond pynciau sy'n berthnasol i gylch gwaith y pwyllgor yma y dylent ei codi. Os oes gan aelodau'r pwyllgor unrhyw eitemau yr hoffent ei gweld ar y rhaglen waith, gofynaf iddynt anfon y ffurflen cynnig pwnc craffu perthnasol dros e-bost at Swyddog Gwasanaethau Craffu a Pwyllgor, a gellir ei ystyried wedyn yn ôl y meini prawf blaenoriaethau sydd wedi cymeradwyo yn y modd priodol. Drosodd ata chi, Dawn.
Diolch, Chair. Afternoon, members. Can I advise of the following changes to the forward plans since our last meeting? The school admissions policy, as there have been no changes to the policy, there's no need for it to come through the democratic process. So that will be removed from the forward plan for this year. An update on the school improvement model is scheduled for the meeting on the 13th of Feb. And also an update in respect of work undertaken to improve attendance and the provision for education other than school is scheduled for the April meeting. Update, Chair.
Diolch yn fawr. Awn ni weld os oes yn drafodaeth rwan. Cynghorydd, Councillor Anne McCaffrey. Can I ask you to speak first, please?
Thanks, Chair. Dawn, I just wonder, can we have something on the forward work programme that would normally be done by GWE, which is a report in terms of schools and sort of school standards? Because there's the actual programme looks quite light just at this point in time. And I just wonder what your plans are. Thanks.
Dwi'n diolch i Dr Lowry Brown I ateb hwnna.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Anne. And as you'll know, as part of the School Improvement National Review, it does look as if the regional consortia will cease from April the 1st onwards. So we will bring you the comprehensive paper. We'll bring to you a comprehensive paper which will include an overview of the information that we will be collating from schools and the plan in terms of moving forward in sharing that progress with you. So yeah, January we'll give you an idea of how that's going to be doing, but GWE won't be presenting a paper to scrutiny.
Councillor Anne, did you want to come back?
No, I mean, I to be honest, I didn't expect that GWE would, but I'm just conscious that we need to ensure that we get appraised of school standards and our progress or in challenges. So if Larry's got that in hand, that's great. Thanks very much.
Thank you both. Councillor Paula Cock.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Can you speak to your mic?
Sorry. Can I just test my understanding of the democratic process going forward in relation to the indicative school budgets that are going out in January, and in a sense how we're going to be debating that process? I know it's very difficult because we've only got partial information at the moment, but I noted from the school budget forums that these indicative budgets will be going out in January, and I'm just wondering how that fits in to the democratic process from now until that date in January when they go out.
Okay, well, you've got every right to ask the question. It's not on the agenda, but it's up to the officers now. Councillor Julie Callan.
Yes, so Amanda will be putting together a report that will come to Finance and Resources, and that will be your opportunity to hear what the plans are. Obviously, we've only just received the budget information. There's still a lot to pick apart there. So yes, that will come at some point in the next few weeks. That information's being collated.
So can we just test my understanding? So FROSC will have a discussion about indicative school budgets, and then they'll go out later in that month.
Yeah, but obviously it's a democratic decision, as you know, that will be taken through the budget process. These are the information that schools receive will be indicative. They're aware of that. obviously it has to go through the democratic process in setting the final budget, but yeah, that information will come to us because it usually does.
Thank you.
Diolch, David.
Thank you. And as we're all school governors, I think we'll know before a lot of people anyway. Thank you. Anybody else got? Yes, Councillor Cheryl Carlisle.
Diolch, Chair. Thank you very much. And just following on from Councillor Paul's question there, as a school governor, I'm obviously worried as well. How will this indicative budget and the time frames now sit with any possible redundancies, that processes that will have to begin? Of course, there are statutory time frames that those have to be done in. So I, as a governor, I'm concerned about that. Diolch.
Okay, I don't think any processes have changed, but who wants to answer that one?
Yeah, HR and finance colleagues are well aware of the requests for information from schools, and we've requested that is shared with schools as soon as possible, because I think we need to align not only the redundancy process with the budget setting cycle, but also the loan timeline as well. So that information will be coming from our colleagues across HR and finance.
Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr bawb. Felly, gai rwan ofyn am gynigydd ac eilydd i gytuno ar y rhaglenni gwaith. Os gwelwch yn dda. Cynigydd, Cynghorydd Joe Nuttall, eilydd, Cynghorydd Trystan Lewis. A wneith pawb godi dilo os gwelwch yn dda, os da chi'n gytuno. Diolch yn fawr. Ni. A ni mlaen rwan i eitem 9A, diwygio'r weithdrefn ar gyfer penodi llywodraethwyr awdurdod lleol mewn ysgolion, tudalennau 59 i 68 yn eich pecyn. Bydd Claire Scanlon, rheolwr y gwasanaethau gwella addysg, yn cyflwyno'r adroddiad. Diolch yn fawr, Claire.
Yep, I'll just do the intro of that.
Oh,
Okay, Chair.
dyna ni, ymddiheuriadau am hynny. Dydy o ddim ar y nodiadau i. Diolch.
No worries. Okay, so the role and responsibility of school governors is a valued and essential part of leadership in its widest sense. In light of the change, oh, sorry, I've got the headphones and I'm hearing myself twice, how awful. In light of the changes to the school improvement and accountability framework, it's essential that governing bodies provide appropriate and credible support and challenge in order to undertake the vital roles of critical friends. And that the appointment of governors links clearly to self-evaluation processes and priorities for our schools. Governors are an essential part of Eston's inspection area, leading and improving within the new inspection framework. We want to make sure that Conway, our processes and protocols are clear, understood by all and responsive to changes in the statutory frameworks. We also want to ensure that as many elected members as possible do undertake roles as local authority governors in schools, as this is a vital opportunity to engage with our schools and communities, goodness me, sorry, I've got such a sore throat, to provide relevant support, challenge, and of course to bring first-hand evidence to our role as councillors and our decision making. So with all of this in mind, it's therefore timely for this review and proposed revisions to the appointment of LA governors to ensure that processes and protocols, as I said, are in line with the statutory framework and that approaches within our local authorities and our own Conway values. So Claire's going to go through the report with you now and the changes as part of that. Diolch, Cadeirydd.
Diolch, Councillor Julie. So as Councillor Julie has noted, the introduction of the school's improvement and accountability framework has required a review of the processes we undertake and the protocols around how we operate within and beyond schools to comply with that framework and of course other statutory and non-statutory expectations. So the current procedure around appointing local authority governors places a heavy burden of responsibility on local members to either fill vacant local authority governor positions in schools within their wards or to find and to nominate another person or persons. So depending on the size of a school, there could be between 1 and 5 local authority governors on any one governing body. Some wards have more than 2 schools within the ward, meaning that a local elected member cannot undertake that responsibility to be the appointed LA governor in all schools. So currently elected members are required to identify multiple nominees to sit as an LA governor. It's not always easy to find volunteers who can commit the time to be a school governor, which leads to some vacancies existing on a governing body for some time. It's worth noting that LA governors represent the second largest stakeholder group on any governing body. So with that in mind, and in order to meet the requirements of the guidance and Estin's Inspection Area 3, the process for electing LA governors should include input from head teachers on behalf of their substantive governing body to identify vacancies, skills and knowledge gaps, and to provide feedback on potential applicants where there is more than one potential appointee. However, the current process does not allow for this. So the new process is summarised in the flowchart that I'm not going to read out to you, but I think some of the key changes to point out include that opportunity for engagement with the school to get feedback on identified skills or experience requirements and or gaps. Where there is more than one potential candidate, some opportunity for feedback on this from the school. An opportunity for education services to make recommendations to the cabinet member who has ultimate responsibility, of course, for appointing LA governors. A clear process for appointing additional LA governors when education services are required to use their statutory powers to intervene in a school, which was not previously included in the process and which has made the system somewhat clunky when this has been required. And that the administration and coordination of the appointment of LA governors to be brought into education services to ensure consistency with all governor support functions, which are undertaken by the Governor Support Officer, which all local authorities are required to have, and who meet as part of the subgroups of ADDSG nationally. It is clear in the report and in feedback that it will always be a priority to ensure that there is elected member representation on all governing bodies and that at least one LA governor position is held by an elected member where possible. So what we're trying to do is just streamline that process to make it really clear for anyone and everyone who's involved in that process, and to just ensure that we are in line with that school improvement and accountability framework. Thank you.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Claire. Nawn ni agor y drafodaeth rwan, os gen rywun gyfraniad, os gwelwch yn dda. Llwch chi roid eich meicroffon, os gwelwch yn dda. There we are.
Yeah, I'm just interested as to the number of shortfalls that there are in the positions across the county. Is there anybody able to inform and advise how many vacancies we have?
Thank you for your question. Can you turn the microphone off now? Thank you. Claire?
I don't have that exact data at this moment. It varies from time to time, and we've just gone through the process of re-electing, I think, all the elected members onto those governing bodies, but there's variability. We can provide that data if you'd like.
Thank you. Councillor Anne McCaffrey?
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, a question for Claire. I think it's a reason
Councillor Anne, do you mind turning your camera off, please? Thank you.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
It is better, thank you.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, my question arises out of reading section 3.3.3 when it talks about education officers sharing with schools any current approved suitable applicants for LA governor roles. I understand the case for change here and welcome it. I think anything that improves processes and candidates as well as appointments, I think, is to be welcomed. But I'm not quite sure what's meant by the approved suitable applicants. That's what triggered my sort of thought process. I do wonder, I'm not aware, I think, that there is a role specification or a person specification. And I'm not sure if that is in existence or not, and therefore would it be worthwhile, if not, that it be included within this redesigning of the process. But the fundamental question is, what does approved suitable applicants mean in this context?
Yes, thank you for your question. Claire?
Diolch, Councillor Anne. At the moment, there is a process by which any member of the public, if you like, can actually apply to be a local authority governor through Conway's website. But within that process at the moment, we're not necessarily sort of collating that information and having a bank of people ready. So what that means is ensuring that any applications that are made to undertake those roles outside of the remit of elected members, that we actually keep that information reviewed, and we've got people who are approved in the sense of we've seen their application, we think that they could bring something, that they do fulfil the attributes of a local authority governor. And the other part in 3.1.6, it does outline there the information that is shared on Conway's website at the moment in respect of the requirements, I suppose, of a local authority governor. If this paper is approved, then we will sharpen the processes around that, I think, and put some of those more specific aspects in. The guidance from Welsh Government is quite loose around what we would want from a local authority governor, but I think there are some clear expectations there, but I think we can probably sharpen up some of the skill sets so that they do then align with, there are these requirements on a particular governing body, X has applied through the Conway website to be a local authority governor, we think that they would be a suitable applicant for you. Hope that makes sense.
I think it does, but I just wonder, for consistency across the estate, really, whether there just be value in articulating that in a way that's consistent across all governing bodies, so that, you know, how you designate somebody suitable or unsuitable could be justified against a sort of set criteria. I mean, you've loosely got one within, you say 3.1.6, but I just wonder if that could be sharpened up so that, you know, like any recruitment process, there's a role specification and a person specification that you could potentially send out to interested applicants. And not only they, but we collectively could be assessing them for suitability against those criteria. Thanks, Claire.
I think that's something we could certainly do as part of reviewing the process.
Okay, thank you. Stephen, has your question been answered? Yes? Okay, thank you. Anybody else want to ask or raise anything? No, pawb yn hapus? Iawn. Mae argymhelliad i'r Pwyllgor Trosolwg a Chraffu. Yr argymhelliad I ni oedd bod y Pwyllgor Trosolwg a Chraffu'n addysg a sgiliau yn craffu ar yr adroddiad a'i weithred diwygiedig a gynigir ar gyfer penodi llywodraethwyr, yr awdurdod lleol I gyrff llywodraethu'r ysgolion a gwneud argymhellion i'r cabinet fel bo'n briodol. Wel, da ni wedi gwneud hyn, felly'r argymhelliad rwan i'r cabinet ydy cymeradwyo'r weithred ddiwygiedig ar gyfer penodi llywodraethwyr awdurdod lleol fel ei cyflwynir yn y siart lif sydd wedi ei hatodi. Oes 'na rywun yn barod I gynnig y bod ni'n neud yr argymhelliad yma i'r cabinet? Cynghorydd Joe Nuttall yn cynnig, cynghorydd Hannah Fleet yn eilio, a wneith pawb ddangos yn y ffordd arferol. Dyna ni, mae hynny wedi i'w basio. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Iawn te. Dyn ni yn mynd rwan at eitem 10, sef eitem eithriedig. Dwi angen gofyn rwan am gynigydd ag eilydd I gytuno I fynd I sesiwn breifat. Mae cynghorydd Hannah Fleet yn cynnig bod ni yn mynd I sesiwn breifat a mae cynghorydd Joe Nuttall yn eilio. Gai pawb I godi llaw os ydych chi'n gytun. Dyna ni, mae hynny wedi gario. Diolch yn fawr. Felly, nawn ni jyst aros rwan i'r swyddog Pwyllgor I roi gwybod i'r cadeirydd bod y ffrydiau byw